Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another amazing episode of CLX Foundry Live, where we're going to jump right inside of this machine and build it from the ground up. I'm your host, DJ Blue PDX, and of course, joining me live from our studios in Wichita, Kansas, is our lead technical expert, Paul Steffens, and our master builder, Zach Hillingsworth. Gentlemen, we've got a fun thing to build today, but first, I want to talk about the two different giveaway builds that are on either side of, well, they were on either side of Zach, and then Zach decided to, there we go. As you can see, we've got the Intel Gamer Days on one side. We have got our August build on the other, and it's going to be fantastic. Now, everybody wants to know, well, how do we get into this? Type exclamation. By the way, you're going to type exclamation giveaway in the chat, and you'll be able to get access to both of those giveaways, which is fantastic. There's our AMD and Fantex build right there with a brand new View case. And then, of course, we've got our Intel Gamer Days version, and that is there with our friends over at Intel and Fantex. Now, here's what you need to know, because the one thing everybody's looking for is, where do we find the codes? How do they work? Oh, my gosh. Well, once you get to there and you do the first group of things and unlock the rest of them, you're going to see where you can enter the codes on the giveaway sheet. Now, with that being said, there's different places you can find codes. We drop codes on Tuesdays here on the Kick side, which is kick.com/CLXgaming. On Thursdays, we'll drop them over on the Twitch side, and that's twitch.tv/CLXgamingTV. You can also find them in our social media. That's YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at CLX Gaming. You may also find them in our Discord at discord.gg/CLX Gaming. You can also find them on my streams, and I'll have a couple today as well later on. But first, let's take a look at what we're going to be building. Who are we building this for, gentlemen?
This is for Ho in California.
Got it. Not going to make any jokes, I swear. All right, let's take a look at what we're putting inside of this this incredible machine.
Yeah, so going inside of this, we've got our set. This is starting out with an AMD Ryzen 7 7800X 3D. To cool that, we've got a CLX Quench 360 AIO in white with the RGB cap. For our motherboard, we've got an ASRock X670E Steel Legend. And for our memory, we have two sticks of Corsair 16GB DDR5 6000 speed in white. This does have the RGB heat spreaders. Looks really good. For our storage, for our NVMe drives, we have two 1TB Samsung 990 Pros down there at the bottom, and then as an extra storage, we've got a 1TB Seagate Barracuda mechanical drive. For our video card, we've got an RTX 4060 Ti from Gigabyte. And for our case, we've got a Neo Cube in white. We've done a couple of these, but it's been a long time, so excited to have one of these on the show again. For our case fans, we have 9 of our Intermax white HF 120s. We got a Corsair lighting node in here, a Creative Labs sound card. This thing is a pretty full system. And then for our power supply, we've got the EVGA 750 GT. This is a 750 watt 80 plus gold modular power supply, and we do have a black and green sleeved cable kit to go with that as well.
Nice. That is fantastic. Well, as usual, in the event that you discover, for those viewers who discover they might have a question, here's something they're not familiar with, or just have a general questions about PC building or your experience PC building, please ask away, and I'll make sure the guys get there. Oops, I did not turn on TikTok. That is my bad. There we are. Hello, TikTok.
You turned
How you
TikTok
doing?
off?
No, I just didn't hit refresh, because I'm special like that.
Thank you, sir.
There we go. And there's Facebook. Goran Mar over on Facebook, and Emin Mendoza. Hello, Eminem Mendoza. There we go. Thank you. So the artist is in the house. Welcome in. I will say that has anybody else? I just have to know this because it's been happening a lot lately, and it's I've been inundated for some reason with all of these bot artists. I'll redo your banners and everything who've never been to my channel. I'm like, really? Is that a thing? Well, I'll tell you what is a thing. It's our motherboard. This is, of course, like you mentioned, an ASRock. This is an ASRock. There we go. X670E Steel Legend. What are some great features about this board?
It's camouflaged, so you don't see it when you're out hunting.
True.
Right? Naturally. Where do you want to take your computer? Into the woods. Into a snowstorm. This is a very Black Ops snowstorm. It's rocking good. Welcome in. Glad to have y'all. I've got everybody here. Libby's dad. Hello, welcome. I'm getting a package from you guys today. I'm so pumped. Heck yeah, let's go.
Nice,
Over
nice.
on the red side. I dig it, I dig it, I dig it a lot. That's always fun. I actually spent part of the morning building out my own, what will hopefully become eventually my replacement streaming PC. But yes, Alardis got ignored a question. What happened? Oh, what does the TI stand for?
Oh,
That's a good question.
Yeah, so
Excellent question.
I'm not exactly sure if it really stands for anything other than just a designation for kind of a different model of video card. I treat the 4060 and the 4060 Ti as just two separate cards, the Ti being more powerful than the 4060.
All right, let's take a look at this board real quick. It's, of course, a Steel Legend, like we mentioned. Now, this has got some great connectivity on it, and it's got a unique feature that not many boards have. All right, so starting at the very top, we've obviously got our display port and our HDMI port, and we've got our CMOS reset down below there. There are 4 USB 3.2 ports. There are 6 USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports, and there's a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A that's 10 gigs. That's 5 up and down. And there's a USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2 Type C port, which is 20 gigs. That's 10 up and down. Plus, you've also got 2 different RJ45 LANs. One is a 2.5 gig LAN port. The other is a standard. You've got your BIOS flash down below, and then, of course, your baseline audio. But that's okay because later on, we're going to be attaching, and plus the Wi-Fi antennas that blended in there. And then we are going to be putting in a sound card later on in the day. But first, yes, nice. We're going to take a look at our processor. There it is. All right, for this build, we're going to be putting in here.
I was like, what?
We're going to be putting in an AMD Ryzen 7 7800X3D. Paul, what's up with this? What's up with this processor? Because these are pretty cool, and everybody seems to be migrating to them.
This is a great gaming processor. So it's an 8-core, 16-thread processor with a base speed of 4.2, and it will boost up to 5.0. Now, this is the 3D version of the 7800X. So that means that the cache is stored vertically on top of the CPU die, which gives a bigger surface area so that you can have more cache on your CPU.
Let's see here. Did I miss something on? Thank you. Oh, wrong side. No, not yet. So see, Cleverwood says, hey, I just got a new PC today, and there's a red and yellow lighting. There are red and yellow lighting up next to the RAM. What does that mean? Please tell. Good question.
Those lights on your motherboard are indicators for faults usually. They can, depending on which one is lit up and which motherboard you have, I won't be able to tell you exactly what those lights mean on your motherboard, but if you turn your system off, you can see there might be some printing on the PCB itself that will tell you like MEM, VGA, CPU.
CPU, DRAM, VGA, and then boot is what's on this one up in this corner.
So it's usually showing you if something's going wrong, there's an error there, and you can look at your motherboard manual to see exactly what those means. Now, if your system's booted up and working, sometimes there's like a red light that stays on just because it has power, but it just depends on the motherboard that you have.
Alrighty, hopefully that helps a little bit. K-Raw has asked a good question. So can you attach 2 network cables at the same time, or is it just an option for powerful networks?
You can attach 2 networks at the same time. However, that's it's a pretty rare case that you would do that. You know, back in the day, some elite gamers would run 2 internet lines to their house, but that's not really a thing anymore. This is more for like if you have a home network that you want this to also be plugged into on top of your regular internet. But pretty rare case to use both of them at the same time.
Yeah. We got Deadshot in the house over on the Twitch side. What's going on? Damon Ascend mentioned that, says, please tell Paul, TI is for titanium, and it's also how titanium is listed on the periodic table.
I thought it was technical intersection. You know.
Wow.
Texas Instruments.
Yeah.
Texas Instruments. Jeez. Wait, they did the speak and spell on the math and spell.
Did they?
Yeah, way back in the day.
remember having to get like a TI 86 or 84 or something for school.
Oh,
It's super
yeah,
expensive
those
calculator.
Stupid. And that's it. Just the one. I swear. I want so much. A calculator?
They can play Doom.
You could put games on them.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, you can play Doom on the big boys. I'll take that.
Pretty cool.
360.
360. We do have upgraded thermal paste on this
Sweet.
build as
Okay.
well.
Oh, so let's talk about that. When you're upgrading your thermal paste, how does that work? And what does that do when in the longevity of things?
So for upgrading your thermal paste, now putting a higher end thermal paste is going to equate to lower temps on your CPU because it's going to transfer heat better. So it's always nice to go with that option. It's not necessary, obviously, for your system to work. But if you can, it's a good way to keep that CPU a little bit cooler, which means it can stay at its boost speeds faster.
Nice. Now, when you're applying your thermal, you're going to be building your own. And by the way, what's up, Edward Lee? Thank you for the new PC. You are very, very welcome.
Discord.
Absolutely. Regera. Anthony LaRue. Hello and welcome. So you asked Google, so Google was correct. Good grief. So what's the best plan of attack when you are spreading your thermal paste on your processor?
So we can put a little dollop about the size of a pea on our processor and stick our distribution on top of it, and it will smush it out just fine. Or if you want to get very fancy with it, you can take a little piece of plastic and spread it out flat, get a nice little even layer that covers up everything. That is preferable on bigger CPU sockets, like the Threadrippers or the Intels. With one of the smaller AM series processors, we could easily get away with having just a little, let me do that real quick.
A little dab on there, and then the cooler spreads it out.
It would be like that, just a little. Doesn't mean too much, but just a little dot like that in the center. Once we apply even pressure around everything, that will smush it all out.
Gotcha.
So
Very bright and shiny plate. I'm always fascinated by these things. They're amazing. Now, obviously, that is a CLX Quench 360 ARGB white liquid cooler. This is known as an AIO. Paul, for those who may not know what an AIO might be, what is it?
AIO stands for all-in-one. So we're talking about a liquid cooler here, obviously. All-in-one meaning this comes out of the box ready to go. There's already coolant inside the radiator. We just need to grab the right set of hardware that matches our motherboard socket and install that, and you're good to go. Won't need to take any tubes off and fill it or do any type of maintenance on it or anything like that.
Which is excellent and fantastic. Okay, so as we're getting this all mounted in there, what are the rules of how to mount your AIO so it goes into the proper place in the case?
The biggest thing is we want to keep at least the top of this radiator right here where my hand is above that pump. Now, if it is in the bottom of the case and it's below the pump, that's okay.
And I'm just subtly wrapping them under the posts, not pulling hard or anything. I don't want my cables to get accidentally pulled up on top of the processor, because that might give them some heat and melt some rubber housing. So we just want to leave it very loose, and then we should be able to just subtly hide the cables so that we don't have to look at them. Make
Nice.
the system look pretty.
There we go. I love the sound of zip ties when you're tying them up.
Cinching.
Yes.
Yeah, it does sound good. It's satisfying.
All right.
To our memory modules.
Sorry, Zach.
Yeah,
I'm not
you're
as
good.
prepped today as I am. A little off.
Okay, so now up, we're going to be taking a look at our RAM. Now, the RAM for this is actually going to be really fun. This is going to be two 16 gig sticks of Corsair DDR5 6000. Now, this is the fastest RAM that we offer, I believe.
Yep. 6. Yeah. For right now, yeah. It'll get broken.
I'm sure we'll see some higher speeds in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, this is it's super fast.
And we back, and we back, and we back.
Are we back? We're back. All right.
Let's do NVMe's.
Like,
Why is the power connector for the CPU at that particular position?
everybody refresh your browser if you can hear me.
Why is the power connector for the CPU like this up there?
Yeah, dimensional. You're talking about that 8-pin CPU power that Zach's got his finger on, or maybe the power for the pump?
Some EATX motherboards have their CPU power up above the 24 pin.
Yep, everything's good after the refresh. Yes, make sure you refresh your browsers, people.
Yes, you are talking
yes,
about
he
that?
is.
So, I'm not sure why motherboard makers do that, but that's just where it's always been since I'm doing. I'm sure there's some part of the manufacturing process that it makes sense for the power to go there. It can be kind of annoying to plug it in. Sometimes after we mount our motherboard into the case, we won't install the radiator until we get that power connected, just to give us some more room. But some cases, they have plenty of room, so you can throw your radiator in before you plug the power in.
Thanks, Gaming Dad.
There we go. Yep, Gaming Dad's a big fan of
Thank
CLX
you.
gaming PCs. Well, I appreciate it, dude. Absolutely. We love it too. Of course, they'll just start selling dummy sticks again. The empty spaces are always weird in high-end PCs. Yeah, what? I've never heard of that. What are those? What's a dummy stick?
I've never used a dummy stick, but just to fill up the gaps.
Yeah, they're literally just meant to glow, just so that you have
Just
all
some
four.
lighting.
Yeah, all 4 RGBs in the slots.
Remember back in the day, like the old Corsair
Gotcha.
Vengeance, before everything had RGB, it came with like a fan bracket you'd put on top. It would clip on your memory and have an extra fan there.
Interesting. Ivory said, yeah, nope, there's not been a code shared, and CLXG-99KS is also, well, it might be a code actually. So there's your code, CLXG-99KS, as in
Kiss.
kicking stuff. Now, what we see here is mating of two 1 terabyte Samsung 99 Pro
This is how we get 2
M.2.
terabytes.
And 2 single terabyte drives love each other.
With the Bubby terabyte drive and the Daddy terabyte drive. Look up. They make memories. Ah! Get it? I am a horrible person. So we've got this here. Now, these will come up as completely separate drives, right?
Yes, they will.
Nice. And of course, this is only 2 of the 3 drives we have going in here, and we'll talk about that here in just a few. Yep, 99 Kilo Sierra. That it is. K-Roz, we're giving those out over on the Kick side today. It's CLXG-99KS. That's
Red
Kilo
balloons.
Sierra.
It needs
And 9
to
red
be
balloons go by. Bum, 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 ba-dum. Alrighty. Already on use. Well, try this one. CLXG dash.
What do you think?
pace on this one. So.
Alrighty. I dig them. We've got multiple different types of fans that people run. These have 2 cords coming out of them. One's for power and one's for RGB control. Does this mean that they'll also have a fan controller?
These will not have a fan controller, no. So the fan power to spin will just be coming off your regular 4-pin header on the motherboard, and the RGB cables we can daisy chain together and then plug them into the board, and the RGB can be controlled via software there.
Nice. So, and I think I mentioned this last week, but when I updated my armory crate, I got updated lighting drivers.
Ew.
And so,
What's
well,
that
yeah,
mean?
Zach, you remember when I mentioned like my AIO cap was only lighting up halfway and it was stuck on one color?
Yeah.
It wasn't a hardware thing, it was a software thing. And I finally noticed the spot on the armor crate that says updates. I went, huh, well, let's try that. Sure enough, it solved the problem.
Fixed it.
Real fast. Nice.
We're gonna do what
We riot at dawn.
Pro gamer move and use a zip tie.
Pro gamer.
Uh-oh.
That goes this
There we go. So, Dimensional Shadow has a
goes that way.
Dimensional Shadow has a good question. It says, I read that the 5090 supposedly will have an extra 8-pin on the motherboard. Some assume that it means that the GPU will need even more wattage. Could it be also be a way to mitigate issues that they had with that weird connector in the 40 series? Good question.
That is a good question, and I don't have a good answer for you. I won't know until we're actually using it in practice, but it definitely could be a way to mitigate some of the power issues. Also, those high-end cards are just getting so power hungry that, you know, maybe it just needs the extra power connector on the board. It's been a while, but I've built systems a long time ago, back in the day, where there would be extra 6 and 8-pin power connectors on the board specifically for running multiple video cards. So
Correct.
it's something we have seen before, but it has been a while.
It's really only on high-end boards that can just support 2 cards now, like the high-end Godlikes and Toyochis have those.
I had like an old X99 FTW board that had one of those. We were running like quad video cards.
Nice.
Good old days.
Yeah, right.
So I want to point out something that where'd it go? Source 3 Von Croy mentioned about the other code. He said it's an old code, but it's an older code, but it checks out. That was Alpine Wanderer said that.
Nice.
If you don't know where that's from, it's from Star Wars. Do you carry any BTF motherboards and cards?
Not at the moment. It's something that we've seen and we've tested some, but we don't carry them at the moment. They are interesting. I don't know how I feel about them yet. I think they're gonna be great, but I think it's gonna take a while to get there.
Yeah,
There's so
I
much
think
other
it'll be a
things that have to
little
come
bit
into
more
play.
niche than
What's a BTF?
back to
Back to
front.
front.
All of the plugins are on the back side of the motherboard,
Ooh,
so you
I didn't
don't
know that was a
you
thing.
don't really get cables.
Interesting.
But with that, you have to have a special case that has the connection ports on the back side of it cut out so that you can plug it up. So kind of have to have a specific motherboard and a specific case. You can't just have any old case.
Dimensional Shadow asks, could it be for quad video cards, like an SLI configuration? Do we even do SLIs anymore?
No, it is a thing of the past now, but that's what I was referring to, Dimensional. I had a quad 780 SLI build, and it was pretty. I had each video card was from a different brand, so I had like I forget which ones. I think it was like an EVGA, a Gigabyte, PNY, Zotac maybe. Those Zotac cards back in the day were cool. They had like the clear orange fans on them.
Oh, nice. Jimmy O got a good question. I'm helping a friend work on a 5800X build with a 3060 Ti and a 360 AIO. Would this be a good build?
It's a pretty good build. I'd definitely consider it like mid-tier. That's a very powerful CPU. I'd say go up on the video card if there's room in the budget. You can go like 4060 Ti. That would be a little bit more fitting. But you can definitely stick with that and upgrade the video card in the future.
I dream of having my own PC business one day, says Jared Ceramic. That's awesome, dude. Nice.
Very nice.
Everybody needs a computer. So it was funny. I was browsing through an article this morning, just on things that compared the current computing power of a phone, like I have an S23 Ultra, compared to the actual power of some of the earlier Windows PCs, like Windows 95 PCs.
Oh.
These things are more powerful than most Windows Millennium PCs. That was an operating system that made me want to commit acts of violence.
Windows ME.
My gosh, that thing was nuts. As Jimmy Yost mentions, the 3060 is the only one in their budget.
Okay, yeah, no, that's still fine. You're going to be able to crush games at 1080 at high frames rate and stuff like that, and even, you know, some games at 2K and higher up.
XFamX. Well, it's that's correct because there's only one winner per giveaway. So, accurate assessment.
Well, we're all winners
Lalaris
every day.
Yes. What do you think about the 4070, guys?
Oh yeah.
It's a really good card, honestly. It's you know, in that mid to high end category. Can play a lot. I'm actually might be upgrading to something similar to that because I'm rocking like the 2080 Super. So getting a little old. It still runs pretty good, but getting close to time to upgrade.
Yeah, Zombie Rain mentions a very good point. The phones we carry today are more powerful than the computer that sent man to the moon. Yeah, it gets even more insane if you compare today's phones or even graphical calculators to the calculation powers they had when doing the moon landing. Yep, also true. Had to be just smart like that. Bad guy wants to be a PC development business or game developer business. Nice. Damon is saying, monitor question, you might be able to answer. G-Sync Ultimate, is it worth it getting over just G-Sync? Over normal G-Sync for a monitor?
So
I don't even know what those are.
I have only used G-Sync, and I think G-Sync is definitely worth it. I have not used Ultimate, so I couldn't really tell you in practice. I wonder if those McDonald's kiosks, you know, when you go in and order on the giant tablet, I wonder if those are more powerful than the moon landing computers.
Right.
I bet they are.
What do you think? Jared Ceramic says, what do you think about the 6700 XT 12 gig? It's in my current PC.
It's a good Radeon card for sure. Those we've used quite a few of those here. We've definitely tested more NVIDIA cards than Radeon cards, but it's still a solid card. Both companies are putting out really good stuff right now, so it's really more about what do you game with, what is best for your needs, and what fits in your budget.
Nice. So here's a question about HDR, just because now that we're on the topic of monitors, because my monitor is not HDR, and it's fairly old, but it's a 1440. It gets 144, which is good. But isn't there another one aside from G-Sync? There's
FreeSync as well, which AMD's version.
FreeSync. Got it.
I tend to think G-Sync will perform a little bit better, but it does come at a premium as far as cost goes. So it's all stuff to keep in mind. Monitors are getting so good nowadays. One of our guys that works here in our inventory department, Jason, he just got it's a 52-inch ultra wide, and he just bought a 4090 to upgrade because his current card couldn't handle it. He obviously didn't need to go that high end, but he did.
Lars mentioned, check the prices of the GPUs above 4070, and the prices are crazy. Yeah, they are pretty nuts. Pretty nuts.
Because we have RGB.
Yeah, your current monitors are FreeSync because your current build has an AMD card. Okay,
yeah,
so I don't have an AMD card, but my monitor's FreeSync, and so that probably means why it doesn't work.
I would think it could still take advantage of that stuff. It just might work better if you've got an NVIDIA card and you've got G-Sync.
Yeah. I'm very specific about always using NVIDIA cards. So one of the cool things about this case, as you can see, is this is one of our 3/4 builds. What that means, or 2/3. This has a motherboard that's not sitting on the back of the case. Now, this is going to make it a little bit easier for Zach to work on that cable management. So, Paul, walk us through why that's important. What does that do for the system?
Yeah, why that's important is, so in the back here where Zach's working right now, you can see down there at the bottom there's that hole. That's where our power supply is going to go, and then above that we've got all this extra room for cable management. Maybe we've got some fan controller boxes. I know we're going to have like a hub for our lighting kit in this build, so that gives us room to do, to manage all of that. And you can see there's little, I don't even know what you would call them, raised tabs that you can run your zip ties through and manage it. So you can see the top of that section there is actually secured down to the case, and then he's doing another one right now.
Nice. So Zombie Rain asks, I just upgraded from a 6700 XT to a 7800 XT a few months ago. I might go NVIDIA on my next build, right? But right now the prices are insane. Yeah, absolutely. Agree. They're just all over the place right now.
Yeah, that's fair for sure. It's a good upgrade. I'm typically roll with NVIDIA cards. I've definitely done some Radeon in the past, but I usually stay like a generation or two behind and then try to catch a good deal on when the new generation comes out on the previous generation.
Nice. Speaking of generations, there's going to be a generation of more hard drives because we've got something that's, well, the mechanical hard drive that we're going to be using. This is going to be a 1 terabyte, 3.5-inch Seagate Barracuda hard disk drive. Now, this obviously is a bigger hard drive than the M.2, so what's the big difference?
The big difference here is this is a mechanical drive, so this does have spinning components inside of it. There's a series of platters inside an arm that spins around inside those platters and reads the data. So these are significantly slower than an SSD, especially these M.2 drives in this build. However, it's a great option for extra storage if you're not putting your operating system on it, and they're really cheap. So it's a good way to do for extra storage, but I wouldn't recommend putting your operating system or having this as your main drive.
Rory asks, why AMD FSSR and architecture are just as stable and good as NVIDIA for a fraction of the cost? Oh, Rory's asking me why. Because I have not had that experience, Rory. I'll be very honest. I have not had that experience. And especially when it comes to game development from a developer side, yes, AMD is there, but NVIDIA is just, in my opinion, more stable, better, and more compatible. But that's just been my experience. I think I burned through 2 different Radeons way back in the day and just decided to go with NVIDIA. By the way, I also found my old dead power supply unit from my first PC. We now use it as a doorstop.
There you go. That's a good use for it.
Yeah.
You do have some weight to it.
Val mentions, I think my PS5 has an AMD, so it is compatible with my FreeSync monitor. That makes more sense. Dimensional Shadow is a good question. If you could bring back an old trend, be it visual or technical, what would that be?
That is a good question. I'd probably go with, let's start getting optical drives back and let's get some physical media. I like going and buying the game and having it. All for being able to download it from home. That's super convenient and you can have it ready on day one. But I really liked having like all my game collection boxes and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the one thing I do kind of miss. One thing I'm not going to miss is this brand new code dropped by Ivory, and it is a set code SET-RTYP Romeo Tango Yellow Papa Yankee Papa. There we go. I don't know why I keep saying yellow and not Yankee. That's awkward. Sorcerer Von Croy, not sure if it's still a thing on Radeon cards, but I like that if I had issues with DirectX games not running right, I could force open GL on the Catalyst control panel and get those games working. Interesting. Did not know that. Are there going to be for both giveaways today? I believe so, but that's an Ivory question. Hashim mentions the 7800 XT is a pretty good card, though. You should be good for a while. Yeah, I would agree with that. That's some future proofing right there. Always looking forward to what your next build might be. Yeah, ironically, that's what I was looking at today, was to kind of put the nuts and bolts together for replacing my streaming PC because it is having problems. Having to restart it. Like when I come down in the morning and turn the monitors back on, all of a sudden, all of my icons on the bar, down the menu bar, are all missing. You can still click on them, but anything you click on just doesn't work. It doesn't launch. It doesn't do anything. I can't even pull up the task manager. I can't power it down because when I hit the menu, the Windows button, as soon as you touch the power, it gives you the menu and then everything closes. I have no idea why. So I have to restart this thing every morning. Remember playing games on floppy disk and just a keyboard? Right. Yeah, that's also true, Urus. If you're playing in VR, NVIDIA is the one to go for. It's less of a headache.
Why is that?
Because it can give it pushes the FPS differently. Okay. So you actually get I used to test VR stuff at Microsoft. The reason that you will get what VR sickness is because of if you have a slower refresh rate. So the slower the FPS in, the harder it is for your body to not see that as real. Yeah. So yeah, and you're kind of stuck in and out, and that's what gives that headache, and it takes a good 20 to 30 minutes to get past it. It's kind of nuts. But with like the Vive Pro, we use the Vive Pro for the Halo VR experience that we made for Outpost Discovery from 2019, and those gave a good 90 FPS. It was fantastic. It was so smooth. So smooth. I have heard some really great things about FSR coming up. What's up, Monkey Man over on the TikTok side? How's it going? Haven't you ever heard that Intel APUs have better stream encoding capabilities than NVIDIA? What? What the heck's an APU?
It's like onboard graphics on the CPU. Accelerated processing unit, maybe. Could be wrong there.
Antiquated.
Yeah.
And
anarchy.
And Nicole has a great answer for that question. If you get drawn for both giveaways,
you win both.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
What?
If you win both, me and Zach will come to your house and set it up for you.
Personally, and then we'll have a LAN party.
Yeah.
Altera processing unit. There we go.
You supply the Mountain Dew.
Oh God, yeah. No, you're Joey Wheels is absolutely correct. This generation would have a mental breakdown if they knew what it was like to game with 5.5 or 5.25 inch floppies. Yes, absolutely.
Playing games on the save icons.
Right.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, that it did. So when you put those in there, the way it would access it, you'd hear it. It sounded almost like an MRI. It was just like a very small MRI. It was just kind of nuts. Is it true that AMD is skipping high-end games next gen? Jolly asks over on the red side. I'm not sure. I've not heard that. Paul?
I haven't heard that either. I haven't heard not that, but yeah, that would be news to me. I'm going to go ahead and start getting our video card out and move on to the rest of our components so we can start getting all those wires out.
How long I'm taking?
Well,
no, you're good. We just have a lot. We've got like 4 more boxes. So typically at this part of the build, we got 2 more boxes. Now we've got 4 more. Yeah. I don't even know where to start. So I'm going to start with the video card. Yep. Do you want to do the lighting kit at the very end, Zach? Or when is a good time to do this one? Because this is a big lighting kit at the end.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll just go with that flow.
You change your mind later on. Yep. We'll get into it.
All right, so what Paul has in his hand right now is NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4060 Ti. Now, this is a shorter version, so it's got 2 fans on it. Paul, walk us through this thing.
So I'm going to get all the peels off of this, but like you said, this Gigabyte RTX 4060 Ti. We've got 2 display ports and 2 HDMIs for our video out. Pretty small card, honestly. They're making these smaller and smaller, which is nice. You can obviously get some big versions, but with these small cards, we won't need to use an anti-sag bracket or anything like that. Single 8-pin power connector on here. Really solid card. I'm going to move on to our power supply as well and then get into our power supply cables.
Well, let's take a look at that. For our power supply, we've got a 750-watt EVGA Supernova 750 GT. It's an 80+ gold, plus we've got ourselves some cable sleeves in black and green.
Excited to get these cables out. We had a black and green cable kit a week or 2 ago.
This customer.
Might be.
Yeah.
These cables look great. So, all right, so I'm getting the power supply out right here. Now, this is a fully modular power supply. So that means none of the cables are pre-soldered in. So you can see this bundle of cables right here. We're just going to leave those in. We won't need them since we have the cable kit, which is a big advantage of going with a fully modular power supply. So let me get this out and we can talk about it a little bit more.
Uh-oh. Fire Hazard has, wait, let me make sure I'm... Lesson learned, never buy HP SSD drive. I just bought a 1B. I'm assuming it's going to be a 1 terabyte SSD, but it ends up being a 150 gig SSD. Whoa. Oh, Micro Center? Urgh. Adam, why might that be a thing?
What was the question about Micro Center?
Well, he got up an SSD at Micro Center that's supposed to be 1 terabyte, but it turns out it's just 150 gigs, or at least he's only seeing 150 gigs.
Ooh, so sometimes that can happen from the factory. We definitely seen it happen from here. Honestly, it's probably not Micro Center doing it to you. It was probably something that they got that was bad. So I would definitely take it back to Micro Center, let them know what it shows up as. Yeah, if you got it from Micro Center, they're going to take care of you. HP, yeah, definitely contact them. Sometimes that can happen where stuff just gets labeled wrong. They use typically the same PCB, and they put actual memory chips on that PCB, so that's where it can get mixed up. But yeah, definitely take it back, call them, let them know. It won't be the first time they've heard about it. It's pretty rare that happens, but we've definitely seen it. You know, well, it's like once or twice a year, maybe we see it, or we get like a 2 terabyte drive and it's actually a 500 gig. It's like what? But
Monkey Man mentioned I finally got around to buying Dying Light 2. Heck yeah, dude! Absolutely, you know how much I love that game. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the Beast, which just got announced. Monkey Man says my PC sounds like a vacuum when my CPU gets too hot.
that is your fan spinning up and trying to keep everything cool. So it might be time for a new cooling solution if that noise bothers you, or it could just be really dusty, like Zach just said. So, oh, it's like a fork screen.
Oh.
So, Maddie.
Nice.
So Maddie on TikTok says, should I do SLI Titans in my retro PC? It's an EVGA.
Oh my gosh, Titans! You just took me back. If you got the money and you want to do it, those Titans were never cheap. I can't imagine they're cheap now, but that would be pretty epic. Back in the day when we were selling those, we were selling, SLI Titan systems, and those were so terrifying to ship because we get all the foam inside of them. It was just so scary because if something goes wrong, that's an expensive mistake or whatever.
I'll tell you what's not an expensive mistake. Getting new codes. Ivory dropped another one. It's WXTV. That's Whiskey X-Ray Tango Victor -SDFG. That is Sierra Delta Foxtrot Golf. That is another code for all sorts of things. Oh, yeah.
PCI. We just need one of these for the video card. Y'all are going to get to see me have a lot of fun installing these combs here in a second, too. We need a ton of SATA, Zach, or no, with all this lighting? Probably get 2 SATA cables out. Like, obviously with more than 2.
Just
the lighting?
Double.
Okay. Just the double, really.
Yeah, because we just
Oh,
have
yeah.
the case and that.
This and this is for that.
Yes. That's
Okay.
for that.
Okay. Well, it won't be as crazy as I thought. Which is good.
Yeah. Well, some audio cards do require like that. The big audio cards do require like a 6-pin VGA cable to them because they'll have like a DAC or something on those.
Okay.
But yeah, for the most part, those guys just pull from the slot.
Look at these beautiful cables. I love it when customers order cable kits. Such a nice touch. We're gonna go
right.
So you can see all these cables here. They obviously look great, but these come with cable combs in this bag, which I'm going to install while Zach's doing some cable management, and that will keep all these individual cables all nice and neat and organized.
Awesome. Now, cable cover. I've got cable mods on mine as well. They look absolutely stellar. They're really impressive.
Yeah, it is a great chef's kiss on your system.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Now, the combs that you're going to be playing with, let's talk a little about those. If somebody is doing their very first cable mod, what are some best practices on making sure that you're getting it correct and not getting frustrated?
All right, so take your time. That's what I'm doing right here. So I've got the comb in my hand right here, as you can see. There's these little like notches on them, and each cable will go in there. So I'm grabbing the top layer of cables off this. You can see we've got 2 layers of cables, and then before I start installing the comb, I want to spread them out kind of like that, just to make sure that I didn't get a bottom one in with the top, because that can happen even when you're being careful. And then from this, I'll slide this in between like this, and then I'll just work my way through doing one cable at a time. So this can be a little bit tedious, but just take your time, just a little bit of pressure. You'll feel it go into the slot there. It's easy to jump over and leave a gap, so you want to make sure you're not doing that. But once I get this first one installed, the rest are pretty easy. Typically when you're installing these combs, whether it be the 24-pin or the VGA cables, anything like that, the first one's the hardest. I always start with the 24-pin cable just because it's the most work, and get that done, and then look at there. See how neat that is? Keeps us all organized. Cool. I love it. And then we've got 2 more cable combs for the 24-pin, so I'll do that, and that way it can keep a big section of this, really the section that we're going to see, organized and looking good.
So we got a question coming in from Fire Hazard. Is the heatsink reusable if I replace the SSD drive?
Yes, it is. You can slap that on.
You talk about M.2s? Okay.
Yeah, and that goes for anything, even more than the M.2. If you've got, let's say you've got an air cooler on your CPU, and then you upgrade your CPU, as long as it's the same socket as your previous one, you could reuse that air cooler. Arcade
Revolution says, I love my CLX Scarab, but think it's time to save up for some upgrades.
All right.
Nice.
Upgrades are always fun.
Yes. Joe425 asks, wait, the 3060 build I'm working on is an orange and white build. Oh, nice. Nice.
It's a good combo right there.
Yes.
Okay, I know we have a hard drive, so I think I have to download.
Almost done with this 24-pin.
All put around.
Cards, expansions.
Okay, let's take a look at our cards. Obviously, we've got our 3060, but the first thing we're going to be, our 4060, what we're going to first take a look at, though, is our audio card. Now, this is kind of cool and a little bit different because, obviously, this has multiple HD outs. This is a Creative Sound Blaster Audigy. It's a PCIe, and it's a RX 7.1, so exceedingly powerful card, great for both broadcast and recording, and when I say recording, not just like actual music recording. So I used to live by these things before audio got better on systems. In fact, I have an old one that's, good grief, I gotta figure out which system it's in. What is the display cord I can use if I don't want to use the standard monitor cord?
A little.
It looks like an HDMI, but isn't. I'm going to assume that's a display port.
Probably a display port. Pretty easy to confuse the two until you get used to seeing them.
So
and you want to use
HDMI is going to
DisplayPort
have
if you can.
two. It's going to be two angles like this, like a parallelogram. The DisplayPort is going to have only one angle. Like one end's going to be straight, the other end's going to have a little bit of an angle on it. Yeah.
Parallelogram.
This is water cooling, right? Can you explain how does it work? Yes, Dolores. Yes, we can. Paul, take it away.
For this PC, we do have water cooling in the form of an AIO. So that's what these tubes are. Now this is obviously cooling our CPU here. So we've got our pump right here and our cold plate making contact with our processor. Coolant will flow through these tubes up into the radiator up here, get cooled off. The heat will be taken away by the fans and it'll just circulate like that. These AIOs are really easy to install if you want to cool your system. We've come a long way with them. So definitely recommend using them.
Arcade Revolution asks, are they usually cheap? I'm gonna be honest, the cheapest place I've found them is on Amazon, to be fair. Take a look over here real quick at what Zach is pointing out. This is how you want to make sure you're focusing so you get this in correctly. Zach, talk about that the framework, but also what looks like those two teeth sticking out.
Yes, we want to make sure that our PCI slot goes in, or our PCI on our graphics card goes into our slot. So we want to make sure that our tab is open, or if we have a button, just going to push it a little bit, make sure it's unlocked. And then we want our IOs. This one has two teeth on it. Those are going to go into these two little slits right there on the edge of the motherboard.
And yes, they are. Dirty Yankee and Firecracker are correct, Lalaris. It's not water in there. It's actually a specific coolant, and it's all sealed up, so you never have to worry about it leaking out.
It's like coolant in your car. I don't know if it's the same chemical compound or anything, but
It's
think of it like that.
green Kool-Aid.
Definitely something if you get on your hands, you want to wash them, don't drink it, all that good stuff.
Right. Zombie mentions, I need to see if I can find the creative head unit I had back in the day. It was a sound card that took place of an optical drive. Used it to make CDs from old vinyls. I loved it. Ah,
that's cool.
Yes. Yep. I really screwed up when I was migrating what I had left for vinyl over to CDs and putting it on one of my old hard drives. I was not familiar at the time with the quality levels, and so there's some pretty out of balance stuff. The mixer that I had it coming from was I had it adjusted on the EQ for the club that I was spinning at, and so over there they had virtually no highs and no mids, so I had to crank up my highs and my mids. Well, they were still there when I Yep, and so now they all sound like garbage. So gamer fuel, yes. There we go. Dimensional Shadow, have you ever had a situation with an older system where the motherboard battery was just empty?
The old CMOS battery.
We've seen them come in without that battery. Must have just forgot to get installed from the factory or something like that. Those are pretty easy, at least for us here. We've got a lot of other boards we can pull from, so I think it's usually like a 2025 battery or something like that, a little coin battery. It's not anything super specific to the motherboard, but if you're buying another one, you definitely want to make sure. It's like the save battery in all your old Game Boy games.
Libby's dad brings up a very good question. Can you use an AIO on the GPU as well, or is it not needed? Good question.
It is a good question. So as far as like buying an AIO like you would for your CPU, those really aren't common. I want to say they don't exist, but you might be able to find some weird one where you take off your cooler and install that. However, there are versions of these high-end cards that come with the AIO pre-installed. Each brand has one. They're typically reserved for their really high-end stuff, but it'll look like a video card just like we have here with fans, but there'll actually be tubes and a radiator coming out of it. So it is a thing you can definitely do.
Firecracker, when you do transfer your albums to digital, make sure your speed is set at 0. I mean, if it's a I guess you really don't have that option if it's a standard record player, but if it's like a DJ style record player, make sure your speed's in the middle and check the fidelity. Go for the highest quality you can get. Because, man, I can tell which songs I screwed up on because the size of the file is just minuscule by comparison to everything else in my system. I'm just like, ugh. And Zombie Rain, yes, the MSI does have a 4090 with it.
I know.
It costs like around $2,000. Yeah.
Yeah, MSI, Gigabyte, Asus. There's probably some other brands. Those guys are going to have one there.
K-Blast says, is that mine that you're building?
If you live at in California, maybe.
Because this is for our friend Ho in California. Let's see here. Jimmy's rocking some MTX speakers. Nice. Corsair has an AIO system, but only for certain models of 4080s and 4090 GPUs. Interesting. Did not know that. Okay. Now, I don't know if you already... I know I asked, but I'm now blanking on whether you touched on it. So you notice how the power supply is in that back area. It's not in the same area as the motherboard and the rest of the components. Does that help in any other way aside from just having it out of the way?
It does. So the number one thing is for me is going to be the look. So we won't see all the cables coming out of our power supply when you're looking in the main body of the case. But the other thing is that power supply can get its own air in from this side that Zach's working. The back panel actually has mesh, so the power supply can bring air in, and then it's going to shoot it out the back right there, what you're seeing at the top of the screen. So none of that heat from the power supply is going to be in the main body of the case. They don't generate a lot of heat, but anything you can do to help out with that is always good.
Of course, I took a drink of water at the wrong time. There we go. Did I see WXTV San Diego Free Gala? Yes. Yes, I did. Yep. I did see that one. That is the Sierra Delta Foxtrot Golf. Wait a minute. Did I call that out? Maybe I didn't. Oh, yeah. No, I thought I did. STFG. Yes.
BBC.
Uh-oh, Ivor drops another one. IGD BDJS. That is Intel Gamer Days. Bravo Delta Jammer Sierra. There we go. That is your next code as well. Look at all these codes. Ivor's just handed entries out like wild.
Like Christmas.
Now, remember, these are codes go between two different giveaways, so make sure you're putting it in the right giveaway. If the code is WXTV Days or IGD, that is for the Intel Gamer Days build. And of course, anything that says that starts with CLXG, set, SET, or view, that means that it is for our August giveaway. Is an Aqua 7 a good case? I'm not sure what an Aqua 7 is.
I haven't heard of that. Is the brand Aqua and the 7 is the model?
I'm going to look it up. The Wonder Twin Towers of an Aqua 7 PC case. Oh, yep. I came right up.
Careful. My experience on the internet says to be careful. Don't want to get spun.
Panoramic case, it says. Interesting. Basically, it looks like a... I'll be honest, that looks just like a View.
Nice.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, as far as like good case goes with that question, really it's just is it going to fit your components in? Is there good airflow? Pretty much everything else after that is just general aesthetic of what you like.
Yeah. Okay. Yo, Garage Doy. No, but I'll tell you what we do have. We do have a +1. It's plus B4HR. PLUS-B4 HR. That is B, the number 4, and then human resources. If you're being talked to by HR, well, let me tell you, it's not a plus. That's a problem. Your build's gonna have 11 fans, including the ones in the video card. Oh, nice, dude. Nice. I didn't even think about counting the ones in the video card. When that makes mine has 16 then. Jeez, yeah. I'm actually testing today because I got early access to Star Wars.
Nice.
So I'm gonna be playing that. Why is the giveaway regional? Which one?
So
Yeah, because there are 2 there. Oh, can't post the links. The links. There you go. That one for the Intel Gamer Days. That is just the way that one is.
the Star Wars one, yeah.
Yeah, that Intel Gamer Days one is fantastic.
Alright.
Whoops, forgot to turn my alerts off. Dang it.
Okay, let's do
Yeah.
The fun pot.
yeah, okay. Let's
Now, the one thing I will say is just because, and that the dimensional shadow is correct, that there are certain areas that just the laws for that country do not allow it. So, and so the full list is the residents of the United Arab Emirates, Austria, Belgium, Brazil, Chile, China, the Czech Republic, Egypt, Spain, Hong Kong, Croatia, India, Italy, North Korea, Portugal, Russian Federation, Singapore, and Turkey are not eligible to participate in the sweepstakes and is void where prohibited by law. There you go. Big shout out, thank you to Ivory for sending that over to me because I've copied it down and I'm keeping it in my little list of things. Oh yes, and Damon's right. That is a sponsor thing. But yeah, but of course, if you want to know more about the giveaway, all you got to do is type exclamation giveaway. But I'll tell you what we're not giving away. We're not giving away any necessarily unused space because we've got this hard drive case right there that we're screwing in for our 1 terabyte SSD. And that just fits right on there. That's so simple.
everything's hidden that way. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just have to. You just have to make sure that, like, if you have any fan hubs or something like that, that your little butterfly wings here holding your hard drives in place. That's what all of these other dots are for, is you can kind of shift it to be a little bit lower sat if you have a little bit more cables up here. So I'm just doing a testament issue, or a test fit right now, just to make sure that everything is good. Right? Yeah.
It's a hard drive, HDD. Yep. But you can fit other SSDs on there because there's with all those other screws. Yeah.
Yes, it can hold 2 hard drives, and then we can hold, like, I think 5 SSDs if we take the hard drive mounts off.
Nice. There's plenty of room for other stuff.
Just that. I want to see.
Half-Life 3 is real, claims Valve Insider. Check your InfoGamer newsletter for that. Interesting, because, you know, we've been looking for Half-Life 3 forever. What I would rather have, though, is, to be honest, I would rather have Battlefield Bad Company 3. That would be fantastic. But, yeah. Yeah. So, welcome in, my PC is trash. The first thing they say is, my name is so true. Well, you know what? Just like everybody else, get those extra entries in there. We've got codes we're giving out today. I'll have codes over on my stream. It will be lots of fun.
4-way one.
All right, now.
All right.
And that'll just be okay. So
This is our SATA data.
that in over there.
Awesome. Now, just to point out that this, obviously, because we've got cable mods, is a modular power supply. I don't know if we talked about that necessarily.
Oh yeah.
But, Paul, you want to explain the difference between a modular, a semi-modular, or a non-modular?
Sure. The modular power supply is like what we're using here. The cables do not come pre-soldered in. So it allows you to just use a minimal amount of cables for your system. You can grab the ones that you need, plug those in, or if you want to upgrade to a sleeve cable kit like this customer did, let you do that as well. It's not really an option if you don't have a modular power supply. And then non-modulars, all the cables are pre-soldered in, so you just plug in the ones that you need, bundle up the rest, and you're good to go. And then semi-modular is a little bit of both. So you'll have a couple cables pre-soldered in, typically your 24 pin for your motherboard, 8 pin for your CPU, and then probably another 6+2 for a video card, and then the rest are modular.
Got it. Lost Clips is also my PC is trash and also a Monkey Man. You're doing the PC mission quests? Nice. I have to agree with Firecrackers that I would love a reboot of Battlefield 2 with today's graphics.
Oh
Yeah,
my
Battlefield
goodness.
Bad, like I would love Battlefield Bad Company and Battlefield Bad Company 2 to just get a whole rework. So it's just one game, just one leads into the other. Because that campaign was epic. It was so fun, especially given the fact that they had destructible environments. So you could use the tanks and just blow a hole in a building, and it just, you know. It was fantastic. Plus, the multiplayer on Battlefield Bad Company 2 was incredible. I don't know if anybody else played it, but that was one of my first times I ever really got into multiplayer, and it was wild. I had a blast. So, Deprecated Chris says, Pentium Silver plus Intel UHD is better than any graphics card. I'm in denial.
You are in denial. That is correct.
Like, that is... I'm not sure how you even got to that conclusion. Oh my gosh. Whoa, no. Maddie says, you know it's a legend because of the dairy print. Rip Gateway.
I remember we had a Gateway as our family PC for a long time. A little cow box.
I think my very first PC that I bought was a compact. Way back in the day.
There was all those weird ones. You had like Gateway Compact. I think E-Machines was another one.
There was an E-Machines. There was a lot of them. And I remember having the opportunity to go from 56K up to DSL, and the DSL was fantastic. Oh my gosh. But my partner and I had a roommate at the time who worked nights, so he was always up at night and we worked day. So he would get home like around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and back then the keyboards, there was no such thing as a quiet keyboard. They were these loud clacky keys, full size, and he typed like he was trying to commit murder. And so we would wake up and hear this just constantly. Like, what is happening? Oh, I'm on AOL. Okay.
Yeah. AOL.
I'm chatting.
10 points if you know what AOL is.
Yep. Agreed. Remember the
anybody
OGs
under 30.
Call of Duty World War II games? Yeah, those were always fun. You had a Gateway 500 performance, Sorcery Crow says. Ah!
There we go.
Yep. And, is that, as production just mentioning that AOL is actually the parent company of Time Warner. Man, America Online was, so people talk about having multiple chats open and things like that. I remember when AOL chat came out and we would, you had the little app and then all your pop-up windows if you're having an IM with somebody, and I would be able to carry on like 8, 9, 10 conversations at the same time and completely keep track. It was, man, really learned to type well.
Wasn't it like a
But-
door opening sound when someone logged in and a door closing when
Yep.
they got off? Yeah.
Gosh,
those were the days.
Those were the days.
And then MSN kind of took over for a bit. MSN was trying to be the aim. Not everybody used that though.
Yep, AIM. AOL Instant Messenger, ICQ. That's right. There was ICQ. There were a couple different.
I remember like
see, what
you
was
could
it?
set your little. It wasn't even like your profile, but you had like a chat box with like about yourself, and you could make like the text white with a black background to make it crazier. And you're like, oh man, my parents don't understand me.
Yahoo Messenger was the door knocking. Yes, there we go.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, jeez. You kids wouldn't even know how to do it these days. To be honest, we barely know how to do it back then. That's hilarious. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And also, yeah, the audio player skins. So there was the one that was called Sonic, which was fantastic. But you had all of the different Windows Media players, and then you buy or download different skins and change the way they looked, and so everybody can personalize their stuff. Yeah, right. We are so old.
We are sad. My back hurts.
Oh my gosh. Right? Oh, my bones hurt. Back in the day, the Commodore 64. Yep.
I had a buddy. I was supposed to go skateboarding with my buddy this last weekend, and we couldn't because he hurt his back. And he was telling me how he hurt his back. And he was like, I was brushing my teeth and I sneezed, and it like threw his back out. And I was like, oh man, we're there. The beginning of the end.
We just clicked on things and somehow they worked, or they didn't. Especially if it was Windows Millennium.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. And the noise that phone that 56K modems would make just drove me nuts. Yep. Cairo mentions that yeah, it was an era. Definitely was an era. And Miss Sand and High Five. Oh yeah. There we go.
It was a big deal for sure. It was a really big deal.
Yad Gadge, you tried making a couple of Winamp skins? Oh, that's right, Winamp!
Winamp. They have like a little
And that
yellow
was back in the
lightning
beginning of
bolt
like VLC. Yeah.
Winamp and Napster, LimeWire.
The beauty of pain is that it lets you know you're still alive. Yes, the frustration when all of a sudden you get a blue screen for no apparent reason other than because. I remember as a little kid, you could buy those sound/songs for your pre-smartphones. Oh yeah, yes, the ringtones. Yep. And there was Real Player.
Like the ringbacks, those were big.
Yep.
You call somebody and it would be a song instead of the ringtone.
Do you mind listening to this song
Oh,
while
man.
waiting for your party?
Yeah.
Jay, over on TikTok, we got Jay who asks, hey, can I buy parts to you and build it? Can you buy parts? I mean, you can order them from us, but you have a $2,500 budget. I would definitely say check out the website. You want to do a Ryzen 9 with a 4060 Ti? Interesting. Yeah, I would definitely recommend. Head on over to clxgaming.com and we can build it, but we don't actually just sell parts. Yeah. Any idea what the? Oh yeah, they're all in the back. Downloading EverQuote patches on dial-up. Oh god.
Yes.
Yeah. Back in the day, BitTorrent, Napster, LimeWire.
Mini clip games.
So many different ways to
Mini
just
clip. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You took me back.
Wow.
You did it.
Wow.
E-Bombs World. You're gonna watch
God.
all those videos.
Rest in peace, Mr. Jeeves.
Oh, right. Yeah, definitely check out over at clxgaming.com. We're going to walk through that here in just a little bit. Now, what Zach's doing right now is putting in a lighting kit. So, tell us a little about this lighting kit. What's it going to do?
So this is a Corsair light node kit. This comes with 4 light strips, and so just like fans have a hub, this has a little hub. It's this little block right here on top of the power supply that is going to control all of our lights, and it gets plugged into power and into the motherboard, so you can fully customize what color these are via the Corsair software. I think everything's good.
I will say this. Yeah, the Welcome You Got Mail. I don't miss their web browser. Yeah, no, their web browser is terrible. Someone picked up the phone and you had to wait three business days for the website to load after they hung it back up. Yes. And I had to catch up, figure out where it was. It's like, oh my Lord. Oh my gosh. So as you guys know, I've got a bunch of old hard drives from previous, systems. But one of the things I noticed for the drive bay in the 011 XL is that it's SATA data, right? Well, a bunch of these hard drives are all SCSI.
Nice.
They're the wide.
Flat.
Yeah. The one that I did get plugged in, and it was an XP or Windows 7. I think it was a Windows 7 drive. Maybe it was an XP drive. I figured I didn't really have any issues because I had AVG for my security system. When I plugged that sucker into this, of course, it gets isolated because Windows 11 isolates the drive and then scans it for everything. The number of rampant viruses in that drive was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That's where COVID came from. Just
Right.
an old hard drive.
There we go.
Yeah.
I like the raw CLX PC. Is that going to get? Yeah, gaming data. I love it. I love it. All right. But you know what else I love? I love the ability for you all to get your hands on an incredible CLX gaming PC. So we're going to show you exactly how to do that. CLXgaming.com, we like to try and make it as easy as possible for you to get the PC of your dreams and to make sure that it's going to do everything you need. We carry everything. We have Intel, we have AMD, we have NVIDIA, we have Radeon. You want a big case? We've got big cases. You want a tiny little case? We've got ITX cases and little boards too. You make the choice and determine how it goes, and you don't have to worry about screwing it up. And I'll show you why. Notice where that little green button turned yellow? So if, say, you're going to be choosing a 4090, right, but you have a like this, it's going to choose one of these video that'll work with this power supply, or you're going to have to choose one of these power supplies so this video card will have power. Once you solve it and you pick that solution, it automatically turns back to green. There we go. Now, this is just one part of it. You want M.2s? We got M.2s. You want hard drives? We got hard drives. We've also got the cable mods like you saw today, and you can choose multiple drives if you'd like. We also have a place called the Foundry. On that tab, you can choose to upgrade your thermal paste. You can have us overclock the GPU, have us overclock the CPU, have us overclock both. Who knows? If you want something different as far as cooling, like an open loop system, you can choose that as well. Then we have our favorite place as well is also where we talk about our gaming gear, our streaming gear. We've got capture cards, we've got Beacon Mix Creates and Beacon mics, which are awesome. And then our accessories page for our peripherals, we've got everything. Whether you want a CLX t-shirt and a hoodie, or a windbreaker, which we all love. Let me tell you, those windbreakers are absolutely fantastic. Keyboard, mouse, controller, headsets, mics, speakers, monitors. We've even got routers, we've got server drives, chairs. Literally, it's your one-stop shopping center. Now, if that sounds like a whole lot of effort that maybe you're just not comfortable with doing, don't worry, we have a ready-to-ship section known as our RTS area. The RTS are systems that have already been pre-built and designed, tested, and are ready and waiting for a home. And who knows, that home might just be yours, depending on what your level of engagement wants to be, whether you want something that's on the mid-range or high performance or the ultra high performance. We've got them already set up. So with that being said, for all of your future PC needs, head on over to CLXgaming.com and see what we can do for you to set you up for tomorrow. All right, we've got this built up and ready to go, gentlemen. Power up your engine.
Yeah, the lighting on the motherboard is great.
The resting feature It glows.
So it's not even on. It's just showing
Right.
us we're getting
That's
power.
even fantastic.
That's great.
Okay.
It's been a while
Here
since
we
we've
go.
done a
It's about
cube.
ready for-
I really like it.
I enjoy
Looks
this
good.
case, yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay, let's do it.
Oh,
Oh
you see
my
that light?
God, that's so
Yeah, look at
bright.
that. Oh man. Very nice. Very nice.
That is so bright. That's wild. Nicely done. Nicely done. Well, let's take a look one more time at what's going inside this incredible PC for Ho in California. This, of course, is a... Where do we go? This is a Set NeoCube 2. It is a mid-tower in white. We've got an AMD Ryzen 7800X 3D processor with upgraded thermal paste mounted on an ASRock X670E Steel Legend motherboard with 32 gigs of Corsair DDR5 6000 and of course that RTX 4060 Ti. We've got two different Samsung 990 Pro M.2s plus we've got that additional 1 terabyte Seagate. Our processor is going to be cooled by a CLX Quench 360 AIO in white. Plus, we've got 9 different Enermax HF120 fans, a 750 watt EVGA Supernova, and we've also got our cable sleeves, plus the Creative Sound Blaster Auto G PCIe RX 7.1. That is awesome. That looks so good. I love it. I love it. All right. Now, we're back to normal because we've got some exciting things. Today, we're going to have our after show is back. It's going to return. So in just a few, we're going to take a break. When we come back, you get to spend the afternoon with Zach finally and maybe even find some more codes and build some more PCs. So this show happens every Tuesday and Thursday starting at 11 a.m. Pacific. That's 2 Eastern. You can, we are on dropping codes on the Kick side on Tuesdays, like today. That is kick.com/CLX Gaming. On Thursdays, it's over on the Twitch side. That's twitch.tv/CLX Gaming TV. You can also stay up to date with everything that's going on with CLX Gaming, as well as possibly find codes on our socials. That is YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. And that's all at CLX Gaming. If you'd like to pop into our Discord with a bunch of other like-minded PC enthusiasts, head over to discord.gg/CLX Gaming, and you might even find codes there. You could also find codes on my stream, and I'll be having codes a little later today on my stream for both of the giveaways. Now, so with that being said, I think we're ready. On behalf of Kyle and Jason in production, Paul and Zach, I'm DJ Blue PDX. Stick around. We've got more coming up after the break. We'll be right back.
Hi, everybody.
Arcade Revolution. Contact Paul or Ivory.
Yeah, reach out to us. We will do what we can when you order it. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Later.
What is up, Scooby Gang? I hope everybody is having a fantastic weekend and ready for a pretty fun week. Hey, Duke. Oh, let me set this off back here. Think. Okay, let me finish unloading my box here. Got some pretty fun stuff. Okay, just like normal, if you guys have a question,